Hey guys, it's Hadrian back again with a DIY for you. Now this is the this is that Chanel wallet that I purchased a few days ago from Mercari, and I just put up that video conditioning the wallet, and now this is going to be dyeing the wallet. So if you just saw this video and haven't seen the conditioning video, what you need for that is a leather conditioner. My favorite one is Cadillac Boot and Shoe Care. This is both a conditioner and a cleaner as well, and a microfiber cloth. And you will need, this is a leather preparer. So this opens up the leather, allowing the dye to go into it easier and will stay more steadfast. This is Turaga brand. If you don't have this, you can also use a simple nail polish remover. This will also work. And then you will need a leather dye. This is the Angelus Jet Black leather dye that I will be using. And I will also be using the Angelus brand black acrylic leather paint as well. So these are the things that I'm going to be using in today's video. I have all these things right here. Oh, and also you're going to want either a paintbrush. This is a dauber that comes with the leather dye. And I'm also going to be using some Q-tips, and I'm going to be using these in conjunction with the leather preparer to get the leather on the wallet ready to accept the dye. So now that this wallet is already cleaned and conditioned, I'm going to start off using the leather preparer. Okay, so let's start off with the Turaga leather preparer. Now we're going to use the Q-tip and spread that out evenly throughout the wallet, making sure to get into all those little nooks and crannies. And now this is a very, very important step because you want to make sure that you have gotten this liquid all over the wallet in all the little spots that you're going to be dyeing, so that the leather dye goes on evenly and smoothly, and this will make this job exponentially easier for you. So just make sure that you do this step really, really, really well. Now if you don't have this Turaga leather preparer, you can use rubbing alcohol or nail polish remover. I've used it in the past. I just have this little bottle because it came with a little leather dyeing kit that I bought previously. So I'm just using that right now. I have it handy. And I'll have all the links to all the things that I used below, and you guys can purchase that if you so desire. So here I'm getting the little wings of the inside of the wallet. This is probably one of the harder parts to do, just because everything is folded in on itself and it's hard to get into all the little corners. But again, you gotta take special care to get these little spots. And I just do it once, and this solution dyes really, really quickly, or dries really, really quickly, so you don't have to wait like a huge amount of time between doing this and then dyeing it. So I did the inside of the lid. I took care not to get it on the Chanel logo because I didn't know yet whether or not I wanted to dye over or go around it. So now we put on our gloves because we are ready to dye. So this is the Angelus leather dye, and this is the special box that it comes with. Make sure to use that box because you do not want to spill this dye. It has a tendency to spill over at any point. Anything can knock it over. This happened to me numerous times when I didn't use the box. So learn from my mistakes and make sure to use it. Now, I'm just using a paintbrush. It also comes with a dauber, which is a lot easier to use because it covers more space, but I feel like it wastes so much paint. And I kind of wanted to use the paintbrush just because I wanted to make sure I get everything coated really well and really evenly. And don't worry about getting the dye on the metal. You see there, I'm getting it on the little Chanel logo. that's fine. Um, you can get that off easily with a little um, of the leather prepare, or you can use rubbing alcohol, or you can use um, nail polish remover. So, and also, I was super hesitant to dye this wallet. When I purchased it, I had every intention of dyeing it, but when I got it, I saw that it wasn't in as horrible condition as I thought it was gonna be. But you know what? I decided to go ahead and go for it. I've always wanted to dye a Chanel. I don't know why. I haven't seen anyone do it before, at least online or in videos or anything. So I just wanted to go ahead and try it, and I got this at such a great price. Plus, pink isn't really my color, and I really wanted just like a classic black. And also, just know that if you do this to a Chanel or any other designer bag, that voids the warranty, and it also prevents you from ever bringing it back. Like even if you wanted to bring it in for a service, like to get it fixed or restitched or anything, um, they will more than likely refuse, since the bag is no longer in the original condition or color that it was in. So just make sure to take that into account if you do decide to do anything like this yourself on any of your designer goods. Just a little disclaimer there. But it's fine. Okay, so now with that little disclaimer, once you start painting, you'll notice that sometimes the string is a little difficult to paint with the leather dye, and that's because the string usually has a wax coating around it, so that makes it easier for them to sew the bag or the wallet, but it's gonna make it more difficult for you to um, dye it. So just make sure that when you are um, preparing the leather, make sure with the Turaga or the Turaga leather prepare or the rubbing alcohol or the nail polish remover, make sure that you get an even coating as well on the string. And you can see here that the top part of the wallet there above the button, that is the part of the wallet that's not as exposed as the rest of the leather. And you can see there that the dye is having a little harder time penetrating the leather, and that's because that leather probably still has more of the previous finish that was put on. And you can see there that I'm going over the string with a lot of the dye just to make sure that the string dye is black. So you can see there that you're going to have to do a couple coats altogether anyway, despite doing the leather prepare step, but that just makes it exponentially easier. And yeah, so you're just gonna have to be meticulous about um, your dyeing. And you can see there on the bottom that there is a little scuff. There are some scuffs on the corner as well, and those tend to dye lighter than the rest of the wallet. So I just make sure to go a little bit more heavy-handed on that, and I'll show you how I fix that later on. But here I am just going back over the whole wallet for a second coating of the dye once I let it dry for a few minutes. And I'm not going to show that again, but I re-dyed the whole thing a second time. And now I'm getting ready to do the corners. This was probably one of the harder spots to dye just because the leather is folded and it goes into the wallet. So I just push everything out and go along the wallet trying to dye the corners and everything as much as I can. So you stretch it all out, so you make sure to get all those crevices that would normally fold in on themselves, and just take it slow and steady. Slow and steady wins the race after all. So we just dye all of that. And for the sides, I do a double coating as well of the leather dye. You might even want to do more coats, but I keep it popped out like that until the leather dries, because I do not want the dye to stick to itself and ruin the finish. And I do all the corners and edges, taking care not to get any dye on the interior fabric of the wallet as well as the interior leather. So I did the other side, which I did not show, but now I'm going to do that. And when I open and close the wallet, you see that I missed some spots, but it's fine. But the wallet is looking really, really good. And you can see the little spots where the color isn't consistent, but we're going to do that at the very end. And now I'm going to do the inner lid of the wallet. Now this is one of the hardest parts, so I use the thinner brush that I just showed, but that's for when I go around the Chanel logo. So this was the most difficult part of dyeing the wallet, just because I was trying to go around that little tiny logo right there. And I used that tiny little brush to go around. But first, I'm going to be using just the regular brush, and I'm going to do as much of the inner lid with the bigger brush as possible to make it easier. And again, the inner lid was a little bit more difficult to dye just because it's not as exposed to the elements as the other parts of the wallet, and the finish is a little stronger there. But I did use leather prepare, so it's not as bad as it would be without it. And I just put an even coat throughout, making sure to avoid that Chanel logo because I do not want to mess that up. And again, like the little metal snap closure, you don't have to be too careful of that. You can get that right off easily. But I still just go around it and don't want to make extra work for myself. So, and sorry that some of it is out of frame. I didn't notice. But, yeah. So, just go around slowly around the button. I think I was just trying to bid my time until I did the Chanel logo part. But, it's fine. So we're getting closer and closer to that Chanel logo. I was freaking out a little bit. I was deciding whether or not to just do a huge rectangle around it. But I caved and was like, what the heck, I might as well do it. And unfortunately my camera died, but luckily I caught it right in time, was able to change batteries. And here I am zoomed in trying to paint this. And it was a lot harder than I thought, and my paintbrush was not as fine tipped as I initially thought it was. And it was giving me some trouble, but I wanted to just get it over with and finish it. So I do go around the Chanel logo. I don't go into the interior of the circle, but I do go around all the letters. And I didn't use the leather prepare on the logo because I didn't want the logo to come off if I was conditioning it. And it actually helped that I didn't do the leather prepare on it because later on, when I do condition the wallet one more time once everything's dried, some of that dye that was on it came right off, so it was perfect. And here, I totally forgot that I was zoomed in so much. But I zoomed out, and now I'm just doing a second coating along the whole lid of the wallet. And now I'm going to do the inner leather parts that fold in. And I just used like little pieces of plastic board so that I wouldn't color along the sides and get on the fabric or the other pieces of leather. You can see that right there. And I felt like that was like a really easy way to avoid any spillage. And it worked actually really, really well. I didn't get any marks inside the wallet with the dye other than the spots that I was trying to paint. And I was very, very happy. So there's that. The whole interior of like the interior trim of the leather is now painted black. And the wallet is looking spectacular. Again, there's that scuff. You see that it dried more, and you can see it a lot more. It's not as shiny as the rest of the wallet. But here we're just going to take our leather conditioner and we're going to buff the leather, because if I don't know if you saw earlier, but when I showed the wallet, there are little streaks, and when you do this last step, it takes out the streakiness and makes the color more uniform throughout. And actually, when I cleaned the little metal Chanel logo in the front with a conditioner, um, it just came right off on the hardware, so I didn't even actually have to clean it, which is awesome. Other times when I waited 24 to 48 hours to clean the hardware, it was a little bit more difficult, but I think since it was still fresh and not fully dried on the hardware, this step was a lot easier. So we're just going throughout the whole wallet and conditioning it, and see how now like the wallet is looking a lot less streaky. The color is just uniform and nice throughout. And we do the whole exterior of the wallet, and don't forget to do the little interior wings that pop out. And you can see that the metal is all clean. There's no leather dye on it anymore, which is really nice. Saves a lot of time. And I'm just giving it a good polish. I like to go usually like in a circular motion, but you can see there that I was rubbing the Chanel logo with a leather conditioner, and some of the dye that got on it came off, so it's looking really clean, and I'm really happy. And again, sorry, it's a little out of frame. I was focused on cleaning the wallet and I didn't really notice. Some of the paint did come off a little bit on the where it said Chanel, like that still exposed the pink, and that's because I didn't use the leather prepare. So again, that shows that you do need a leather prepare to make sure that the color stays fast. But here we are, that's the little scuff on the bottom that's like super obvious, and we're gonna fix that right now. And we're going to be using the Turaga leather acrylic paint. And here I am just going around the front a little bit more because it's still a little streaky. And I'm just going in a circular motion, buffing it out, and I notice that there are some spots on the top too that have a little scuffing as well. So we're going to be taking care of all of that right now. So here is that Angelus acrylic paint. And I really love this paint. It's great for edge coating. And it's good for doing things like this where there is a little scuffing, and the scuffing makes the look of the leather not as uniform throughout, so it's a little more matte right there. So you're just going to use a brush and paint it really, really lightly. I can't even begin to express how light like you want to paint it. You don't want to like glob it on, because it is going to look really, it's gonna look globby. It's gonna look like you have like a separate paint on there. So you want to do it really, 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 really lightly. And you're gonna want to just layer it on. So I'm doing the top now, and I found a couple other spots throughout, and I just did those really quickly. Again, so sorry that I'm a little out of frame sometimes and it's not focused. I was getting really into the wallet and trying to make it look perfect. And honestly, like the wallet came out beyond my expectations. It looked so good after being dyed, and I am so happy with the end results. So here I am, just a couple more scuffs on the front. Now this isn't gonna really get anything too deep out. These are just light superficial cuts that you're covering up with this. Okay guys, now we finished doing that last coat of leather dye, and then I went ahead and did one more coat using the leather, we finished doing the leather paint, the acrylic paint, and I did one more coating of the leather dye, And now we're gonna do our last go over with the leather conditioner. And you can see that when I redid the leather dye, it did leave some lines. Not too many, not too bad. So we're just gonna go over all of that one last time really quick, just to spruce it all up and to seal in that beautiful new color that we have for the wallet. Do the interior right here, this, the bottom, and the back. Forget to do the top. Again, we're just giving it one last good buff. See how good that turned out? It's no longer like a weird like matte thing. Like there's still a little indentation, but it's not as obvious as it was before. And there's not like a weird like matte to shiny, like more shiny finish. So we definitely have given it a more uniform appearance in terms of texture. And there you go. The wallet is all done. It is ready to go. I would probably just give it another 24 to 48 hours before using it. But the leather looks fantastic. Let me just put some tissue in here to stuff it a little bit, give it some shape so that while it's drying it won't look all squished. There we go. Nice. Puffed up the corner right there. Alright, so now we are all set and we're good to go. So here is our newly refreshed and recolored Chanel wallet, and I will insert a photo next to this of how it looked before we did our quick color redye and how it looks now. So thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate you guys checking out my video. If you'd like to see more like this, give me a thumbs up, leave me some comments down below, let me know what you think. I have some more videos coming up of I'm going to be doing a color correction for a Alexander Wang, and it's gonna be in a cobalt blue color, so that'll be nice. It'll be a different color other than black, and I have tons of other videos I have to put up still. And thank you guys so much for watching. Like, subscribe, comment, and that's it. Hope you guys have a great day. Bye.